yana, Urjar Bodana, Urjar Yawana, Kitty will we die, Jawang, we got Yawida.
You can see part of the town engulfed in flame.
Okay.
Cái vũ khí đeo hoàn là tức là có mal mấy con bên ngân quơ cái ngoài này cái ngân đi đâm vào đó giờ nên we muốn cái liều là kia được gần hoàn mà thế cái riết nên qua bên phần kia đó mà thế cái wood Murle mấy giờ lấy John mà thôi ngân thế cái riết mình chả là đó chẳng cái vô con cái vô chẳng cái vô đi đâm mà là kia đâm cái dính thu nè còn mà cái vô cái lều cái vấn này đi mình là gam cái tin nuôi đi al we muốn cái lều dính nó đeo đó cái vô cái riết mà quay char cái guru mà theo con mình nông namal đến này được con nên để chỉ liu để có vấn đề này để cái là gam
Ilan cukur nawan orang alten, kam jimba orang alten. Nyak dol di tuari, noko koma dol kinna, la kal do koma kinna. Bai dil alang anam madi. Chandai, ini melal kerja dai do.
Mi chỉ bên bà ông năng bà ra mi bà ra bà cái đó bà ra bà cái đó năng cái chiêng để tin bà cho đó kén cái niệm chiêng quá nên để tin bên nào đó nhỏ đuôi của cái bố xin mi chậm người
mà cái nhỏ đó mà nó có dài tương quay có dài rùa bể nóc có dài mít giọt có dài đìa nóc cái này này nhiều cái trên cái phía tổ tin
chả cần á tin ba chả nó mà nó đi thì là thằng người nào cái gì ní cái thời điểm là chả cái là đó con
khắp cả đây chứ này với này mới này nè cho gặt chơi chùa lò miệt rồi luôn nè một cái này là với này bê cỏ chỉ man cả đó phải dưa nên gặt chả dưa lưu cái gì thì cô với chỉ lưu cái gọi là chữa quan cái này nó nhỏ cô chỉ giọt mấy chả mới đi chắc hẳn là đuôi này chứ cái gò gì thế chứ nó cái quan này bên này năng vi phò lo bây giờ ngay này vậy này mà bé nhỏ luôn bên này năng vi phò lo bây giờ bên này mà bé nhỏ luôn nó mình về chơi kít thế vậy bé chơi kít mình về đàn này chở Phật thế vậy có thể thế này có thể thế này vậy có nhận thể cái đây đó có thể gì với một cấp choi của nhận cái gì à choi của nhau có mua cái choi của đó.
So welcome to another episode of the POFcast. I'm Rob Lancaster.
I'm Minagano Kape.
And I'm David Vincent. The conflict that we are trying to resolve now, it's like 100 years
conflict. And so many efforts have been tried. And so the community has literally given up on each other. If you resolve the Jonglei GPA situation, you would have resolved 60% of South Sudan conflict.
And what we're talking about here is a huge geographical area. You have the Murle on one side with their own very particular set of social structures. You have the Nuer further to the north of Jonglei, and then you have the Dinka community on the other side. So that was all obvious to anyone, and just from looking at a map. What was more complicated was trying to understand, okay, who are the key actors that we need to engage to make progress around some of those dynamics? And in the first instance, at least, it became clear that that's the armed youth leaders, it's the spiritual leaders on both sides, and then taking it forward from there with the traditional leadership more generally, leading to this moment where it was possible to bring together the three communities in Pieri. So firstly, maybe we can give people a bit of background to the Pieri process overall, and how this has evolved into the ICGS.
So Pieri, which is a Payam and Aurora county, was picked as a venue. And just because the spiritual leader Abducted was based in Pieri at the time, and he was appointed or agreed upon as the steward of the dialogue. So when the three communities were consulted, they all agreed that this is where we need to meet up. So the 10-day dialogue was quite incredible, where we brought all the women, the youth, the chiefs, and some of the local authorities together to have a conversation and agree on what needed to be done to set the framework for peace process for the Greater Jonglei and GPAA.
Usually in the past, in a year, the mobilization would be 3 to 4 in a year. But since Pieri agreement, there's a decline in mobilization. Although there are these little ongoing attacks by different individuals from Murle, from the Dinka Bor and the Nuer, but it cannot be compared to when youth mobilize in thousands.
Kon mila kura nung alane dan di mi ki gen bana banakan bana na dor mi ki dor mi dan di ki dor mi dan di bi ki gen ka la woto kon dia ni we la won ne di cha nyin ken yar te ko kur tele kana dia la ne na ba tai tele ne di cha nyin ken yar ju ani ka dia nyin yar pa ya nyin ken yar ka wulle ga nyin yar pa jut ka la we to pa na bi ga do.
You say now, we are taking care of our cattle. Like now at around, in the morning at around 8, we will take our cows for grazing. So now if we get them, we must defend our cows. But we are not ready to go to mobilize or to go and attack the Murle. The only problem that always bring all the mobilization, it is because of attacking us every day, like coming, stealing, coming and killing, abduction and ambushes. And then after that, if these things are now accumulated, that is when now people begin now mobilizing. But this time around, and then we are not ready for mobilization. We are just ready to defend our cows, with our resources and our children.
It
is because of the Pieri peace that happened. That's why they have stopped to mobilize. So they thought it is the best choice to have peace among these two communities.
These criminalities is reduced because of this dialogue. So I have seen that there is an improvement on that.
Tada na kitu ka mal Pieri cha gwa dume wien duoli to ke ne cha ka dual Pieri jandera gwa ko mal Pieri
ai ko men de ling je me chine duol ka agreement Pieri kan chimbudin de kap kan wane cha go kan chimbudin de go nyo kap wane
ne ne chi no ko vitaya kanon alang Murle ka burra kanon ka ke tane ma katte talo ka cha kam
In a sense, what Pieri has become is this kind of anchor, and sometimes it's important to have an anchor that keeps everyone tethered to an ongoing process. So even though Pieri had its imperfections in many forms, it had a solidity to it which was embedded through the depth of that 10-day process, albeit with its imperfections, which we've seen unfold since. And I think that's why people still consider it a reference point that we can come back to, and that is worth pursuing, and almost as a symbol of the kind of hope that is possible moving forward with the process. So Minigano, can you tell us a little bit about the context for this meeting particularly, what's been going on, and from that, what are some of the key focus areas that we had for the agenda this time?
Okay, so the 6th ICGS meeting in Pibor happened just few days after the Rumours of Mobilisation in December 2024. There was a Rumours of Mobilisation by the Dinka Bor and the Nuer community. And to some extent, there was a small attack that happened in Gumruk, one of the counties in Pibor administrative area. But still, given the challenges before the 6th ICGS meeting, the communities still were able to navigate their ways to come together and have a conversation. And to me, I think that also gave a lot of emphasis of why they think this gathering of the communities is very important as a platform for them to share their grievances, for them to call each other out on things that are not happening well, and for them to hold each other accountable.
As we were preparing for the ICGS, a lot of people, myself, I was nervous because taking people in conflict to another conflict location is quite difficult. But it was amazing how they were welcomed by their counterpart. Despite the ongoing issues in the region, people were able to come together and discuss and still commit to their previous commitments of recovering children and women abducted and continue to dialogue to resolve their issues.
So for the next 2 days, this is our first objective. How can we build on these small foundations that we have made and make them bigger, make them more successful, and extend them into new areas? So that's the positive side, and we can build on it. But there's another side as well. At the Pieri conference, there was an agreement to identify abductees, to return them, and to reunify them. And that happened after the Pieri conference. It's written in our resolutions. We commit to end abductions. We commit to identify abductees, to return them, to reunify them. But then what? After Pieri, we made progress. We had 100, more than 100 returned. And then we had hundreds who were abducted again.
Kol ler og dor na ler ko na bi ko bi bor ki mane ko to wa yo ko bi bor ko le ko ya ki ga nok bai
idan ko komao aji doro no peuro noro kamali ga jubu nang Murle jubu nang lo ko ti na en lo ko ben boro
ala pone yi lo ete ko geli changa dol kon la joje go yarana me dol na ga ko be chana na ma dol kon wana me pana jene na kana pai charwa de mero kontine woda paireu ala gar kun mi cha lu jow chabe belli gulei chabe belle ma fuzin chabe belle man mi cha bu lo jow pan kun yin gar kon la kon ye mu go pe ne paireu ka cha ga lu jow cha ga bu sol mu lu ne mi doran mi chang daga karam ya bel malis.
Almost feels like, at least in the 2 ICGs that I have attended, the first 2 days is always quite hostile. People are angry, and also as facilitators, we may have an agenda, we may have design a process of how we want the meeting to look like, but in most cases, we have to navigate ways of changing how the conversation should look like in the middle of the meeting, given the different dynamics that is happening, which can be quite difficult, but also interesting at the same time.
This particular time, one of the attacks happened in an area in Walgak, an area where one of a very strong and committed youth leader comes from, Pibor is, in a sense. And so you could see the attack happened, the news came in, so the day 2, he was really very gloomy and very sad, in a sense. So those attacks that happen while the dialogue is on or the meeting is on are really quite hard, because it sets the tone and the mood of the meeting itself. And that prevails when he was asked to speak. He literally got up and outlined the challenges that they have been facing. And as a youth leader, when these attacks happen, the community, of course, challenge him. You are the defender of the community. Why aren't you reacting? And what they mean is, why are you not retaliating by mobilizing as well to go and attack? And so it puts him in a very difficult position. And this particular time, he got up and almost issued an ultimatum to say, look, I'm giving you from now up until sort of end of February or so, whatever he said, if you don't stop these attacks and there's no changes, then I'm not going to attend any other meeting that's come. So that frustrations comes out during that meeting, in a sense. But it's also a bigger challenge for the Murle community as well. How can they respond to these allegations, or how can they give a concrete answer that gives hope to the other 2 communities that shows that we are doing something? So it's quite difficult for us, especially as facilitators that are holding a space for this community. We find it very difficult. How do we juggle these all aspects?
Kwai la David kana rup ka partner ne ken dial agone na yen chwara ngong ko yen me wana wada pin run ya bana daga pin mola lonya ka morle ne ka koris boga bia jo ka wona na chiang dole da na ya lat mluno tiene je go ka kam ne chong me wo pe ne ka yum na lada ale yum talatin we na ka paire be to chang ka la paire ka ngut ke me na na me we na nyo chut ke dol chwara ko chol chal ne ma pazin a jerwa yamba jina
Ko ka liu na wo. Cái đời na chi yo quit ka wo gerot. Ko ke ka chu ko loy. Wo chin chwer ban Murle.
Gini jo ka cha chana no ko dol ti ka cha ko ma gona ko de mal ma vo watol anga nga ta nya gi jagono nek ga ta labak ala ngal ko to ye ke ginol chi der lan ke gina kala ma do le Murle ne gardeo ala ke gina garde.
Today is the second day of the intercommunal governance structures. The first day was just generally introduction and get to know who is here and get the government to do their opening. But the day 2 is when we really drill down on the main agenda. And so the first session that we are doing today, we have the 3 language groups. We have the Nuer, the Murle, and the Dinka, who have been in conflict for many years, of course. And this time, we want to push them a little bit further to commit to something. For many years, in a lot of the meetings, we have a blanket statement that says we are committed to return the children. However, that doesn't really quite work. So they have to literally look at how many children and women they will commit to bring by the next intercommunal governance structures.
Kabile koi ke Murle betong koi buku gamrut. Nang mit chu ko jot ku mit chi ko jot bi ko kut ku bi ko yerut. Ku bi ko je chat bi ngagrer panden ku bi ngagrer panden ku chin ko be lo be ga yi ngagi. Na betong ya kai.
Men bet kero ade men to sine kum fai gere cheng dan etelet ya sangan che no ra makatin bal kuini ramnana ya no jen biket bi nyo tuku ku sangan me agala ken ba te ba no ko no wane ngode me wa garu na wan ba ko nyo na wuro ba ko nyo na nyiro ba ko jo kon jaw bi bor ka de ya no ngin wane nyo gad kun no
Warri goli ke tagarde avu kan nesal kadai so alu ga chake ba dai do alu ga chake ba yetal choko baka gamana chining baka nyana rokate lambar kaga ya gijali ke ta Murle de men akuma le langanya ke ta kuma.
All of them agreed that it's important that we return the abductees. They also agreed that on a project like a school and shops, sort of a business opportunities that they can collaborate on and work on together, and identifying an area where the schools should be built, where the three communities attend the school together. So all those worked quite well. However, there was a bit of differences in terms of the numbers, because the point for us was we wanted them to commit on how many abductees they can return by county. So the numbers that came are not, they were not happy with each other. There are some people that have said, there are some that said we will return 2 abductees, some said we'll return 10. So that when the numbers were disclosed, it created a lot of discussions among them.
So we hope now with the new CA, things will look different. They have to talk to the people. There is no way you will say, I have a child, but I don't know his name. See? That is not good.
During the ceremony, the 2 governments, as part of the commitment, exchanged these abductees, 2 boys and 1 girl.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister William Ford, for officially handing over.
Yes. So they will tell you later what they are. So now the relative of these 2 families are here.
These kids were abducted 2009 and 2012. When they saw them, they could not believe their eyes. They were taken as children, and they came back as adults.
Myself, I've been in this work for so many years, and it's very easy to give up. And yet, we are here to save lives, and that is what really keeps us going. When you witness the exchange of and return of abducted women and children, that really gives you hope. We are having impact, and this really needs to continue.
I'm going to write a circular, maybe tomorrow or any time, to all the commissioners on my side, to collect all the children and women of Dinka and Bor, Pinkabor, Nuer, Anuak, Equatorian. Any child brought to Pibor must be recovered and taken back. I know collection of children is not easy, but we have to press on until all the children are collected and returned. We are also going to secure our roads by any means. We have enough army, we have machinery or weapons, and we are going to deploy all this army and weapons on that road to protect traders and humanitarian agencies who are using the road. Thank you.
Balade, aku kita lama awak, mengana mena John apa, mengana mena John apa, kalau mungkin itu aku beli di sini. Malah tidak ini, saya beli nanti.
If this is going to be the real peace,
Kebela.
I'm going to stop from here. I will not continue to rape people cut about to abduct children.
Right.
Ane kuna ada dare ne ma kuna talam ni ne ma chaba dok ba dol bar ne bar nye ni na ngin te kare quality ne cho korok tol ba eli dol ya chila ngagamin are bar ni ne
kate ne ka bil ka gorde na lya ka to bala tinche neru ba ka wada kamaget kin boye ba kam leche modo cha kadoma ne ka jedo e cha bala ka do de ngana ko mangana kija iya ka ko mangana ka ga wate ko do ma do ko mangana ni ne ki ka jede
cái ngã tiền thiên mà đi này có chiếc nhà cái nồi của cái phía mà này nồi của chả được và chiếc cái người nhà đi đại chiếc cái lôi của chả được cho của mình cái này à bé ngó thì à good Murle chỉ có chiếc nhà của bé phía
cái đèn cao cái bên trên núi rồi cái này cái đèn cao bên trên núi rồi cái nào có cho bay mà nhầm bola cái nào có cái taro
mới lưu nãy chẳng khi ở đây thấy quay ở bên này khi nào mal kan jal na rodian enje
Lanya ke chakolo kero abada kanya it ganon ya ganon ba lai ya orome no ko ya vi ai gol ka tiar romenta ba le korom ta ke lo ba karome ke bor salam langan bodo corona
ye ne chakoga ke ji dunian ji manadoma ke ji fil kanal kine real ka wana na kine ga idun kine li ka kon bayne goru na ratim mon bina tier wi mon be sera not people you can grow with
Wamanan de larga de yo kon tamo go la gera rod ta ke nei ti ji kon bene wal de dit ti ji wone wal ne to ke ne ko gana ala wo ber la gera rod jer ga medan roi nan de la de mar de yo yen ber dan ji kon ko ne wal a je ko won ber dan kon ber tam me ji bene kon jang ro ko ban te ko ko te won te la nong ne ke ji ga tel gan dian ko te la nang ga ken ji ga liu gan dian tam gwana go de te ne na de ra ro le de ka de ne dial de ko ko kuma mi ji mo te ra dien gan ma ro de lar ka yen wan pa le ye ko wan mo we de tin mo lo ne go be doran be nyo no mu de na nya de lar ka wa
man de wa lar de ma ma ne dial de ka no de ka ju yen ma ma ne dial dab je gi yen beje dab me je gi yen she beje kamo ku gad mo kana kwa kwa yale nyan ka lugu bud ka mana ka gad cha dab ka bud ka mana ka rodian ko ne chuo nương ka wan e je no bi nương ka no bai